This video is brought to you by the FARMER-KLEIN YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Sossa Farm. This map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC only. Now let's read a little bit of the description. Sossa Farm. This map contains additional crops, black beans, carioca beans, and sorghum. 4 points of sale. You can also sell bales and wool. There is a BGA. The headquarters has a house, silo, 2 sheds, and a cowshed. The map includes a limestone mine and a sawmill to sell your logs and wood chips. That is pretty much the description. Now, before we jump into the map, this video is brought to you by Farmer Sins. Thank you for being a farm baron. We'll go ahead and activate the mods that we typically use when we take a look at these maps. And I will say that I loaded this map up earlier in farm manager mode and start from scratch. And everything you find at the farm is exactly there as far as buildings go, but you don't own any equipment other than a starting pickup truck on farm manager or start from scratch. This map does not have a custom soil map, nor does it have a custom seasons mask. So if you play with this map with seasons, you will not have you will not have hay or straw rotting. Now we first load into the map, we start here at the store. We have a Voltra store. And our blue pickup truck is parked right here. So we do have a pickup truck, so we have a way to the main farm. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map. So we'll zoom on out, and you'll see that if we go to the lands area, we start up owning fields 10, 11, and the main farm, which includes a cow pasture, silo, house, and a few sheds. And if we take a look at some of the other lands available for sale, I will say that the land is fairly expensive. We've got a big chunk of grass here in the middle, $1.2 million for 61 acres, 59 acres for another $1.2 million, 48 acres for $975,000. Some of these smaller fields, $151,000, $128,000. Big old field 8, $1.9 million. There is a plot of forest up here on the hill, $440,000. The classic unbuyable land can be purchased for, well, $7.6 million. So there you go. And if you start in a different play mode, the main farm is $680,000. You see, we do have all the standard crops available to us here in Farm Sim 19, as well as sorghum, carioca bean, and then black bean. Go ahead and take a look and see how the generic soil map is getting applied to this map if you play with precision farming. So other than the big sections of grass, which never show up in precision farming, you can see that the fields have a fairly good mix of soil type just as a result of how the soil map is being applied. We have 4 main sell points for the bulk of our grain crops, 2 sell points for our root crops, sell point for our cotton and wool, 2 sell points for eggs and milk. We do have a sell point in sawmill for wood chips. If we do not own the biogas plant, we can sell our silage, hay, straw, and grass here at Casa dos Fardos. And then we have 3 sell points for our carioca beans, 2 sell points for sorghum, and 3 sell points for our black beans. There are no animals at the start, and we do have contracts available. If you take a look at our starting equipment, you see that we start out with a fairly modest list of starting equipment. All is new. None of it is leased. And let's go ahead and jump on in and take a look at that starting equipment. We have the Voltra N174 Fendt 724 Vario and the Valtra T237 tractor. So our tractor's ranging in horsepower from 201 to 250. We have the John Deere T560 harvester that is paired up with the 625X grain header. We have the 1978 pickup truck and the TKD 302 trailer. The Kuhn DC 401 subsoiler, Porsche Pronto 9 DC seeder. We have the Deltis 1302 fertilize and herbicide sprayer. The Breedall K105 lime and fertilizer spreader. And then we have the non-modded, basically the base game cow pasture that's going to support 200 cattle. If we take a look at our placeables, you'll see that there are no pig enclosures, animal enclosures of any type that we can buy that are not base game, I should say. Nothing under miscellaneous. Our custom farm silo that we're going to see later cannot be purchased. Nothing under miscellaneous, nothing under sheds, and nothing under farmhouses. So the buildings at the main farm are basically permanently affixed where they are in all play modes. So here we have the Valtra dealer, and around the side we have our customized repair, sell, and trade trigger with the icon back there at the building. So you can see the markers right there. And then the shop icon is actually inside the Valtra shop. I have to say, when you get inside of here, you get just a little bit of a weird sensation, and I think it's kind of the low resolution of the ceiling and floors that's giving us this to us. And kind of maybe adding to that whole odd sense of just scale, we've got these massively huge truck tires here on the outside of it. But at any rate, you'll see where our Valtra, not our Valtra, but our Mahindra appears over here. So we've got a fairly large area for our vehicles and such to spawn in at, which is pretty good on this map because this map does indeed have some pretty large fields. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up for the fly around. We'll fly around the map, come back right here, and then do a drive around. We'll gain a little bit of altitude, and I'll probably, let's see, speed this up a wee bit, get some light going on here. So when you first load up this map, even without seasons, it is super dark. So really you need to kind of fast forward. The lighting has been modified, I believe. And as a result, it's pretty dark in the morning. So up here in the northeast corner of the map, we do have a port that is a sell point. The dump station is basically underneath that the roof. We do have some nice animated boat traffic coming to and fro over to the shoreline off in the distance. And I have to say, when I was first doing a flyover of the map, just kind of doing a reconnaissance, I saw this line in the water, and I thought first off, oh, did the map author figure out how to like do a wave breaking, you know, at the coast? But no, that's just the map border. Now, the biogas plant is a rather interesting setup because it has in-ground bunkers. You'll basically see the bunkers here have been kind of carved out of the lands or the hillside. So that is pretty interesting. We'll take a look at that closer as we do our drive around. We have a second little forestry farm, tree farm down below there, just in front of Field 9. We have another one of our grain sell points kind of in town there. Third grain sell point directly below. And then our lime mine is right here. So that's where we're going to be able to buy bulk lime. As we move across, we can just take a look across the map. See the large grass areas there kind of in the middle of the land area. And then the big old field 8 below us. And some of the more smaller fields, if you will, over here to the right. So directly below we have another grain sell point. Again, we're going to take a look at all this stuff as we do our drive around. Up here on top of the hill, we have the big tree forest. And then we have the sawmill. So we have our log sell point here in front, our wood chip sell point there around the back. We do have a sell point for cotton over there. We'll take a look at that closer during the drive around. Really loud animated or fairly loud bird sounds. And as I say that, of course, the birds kind of fade away. And then below here, we have the main farm. So everything you see here is permanently affixed as far as available in all play modes. You can sell the cow area, and it is just a standard base game cow pen. And then as we move across the northern area of the map, we have our fuel station down here to our right. And then the shop directly in front of us. We have a bale sell point to our right, and then the animal dealer to our left. So that is kind of a quick fly around of the map. Let's just jump in our Mahindra and do a little drive and see what can be found. The first thing I want to go to is the animal dealer, which is located right here. And then we have the activation trigger right there. It's showing that we can only buy cows because that is the only animal placeable that is down. Let's go over here and check out the bale sell point. This is, of course, where we're going to sell our silage, hay, straw, and grass. Right here. I have to say, in these large grass areas, the grass, ferns, shrubbery, kind of weeded area here, I'd be really interested to know what this looks like after you mow it. If all of this foliage just kind of sticks around and never goes away, and the grass below it gets cut, I think that might look kind of weird and confusing to the player. So these areas may not be that practical to cut grass on if you can't also cut all of this kind of undergrowth at the same time. And then I suspect after you do that, quite possibly a lot of this undergrowth won't come back. That's all speculation. I haven't tried any of that. So here we have our fuel station. I think what I'm going to do is head over here to the main farm. Take a look at the main farm area. And then move around the map from there. So here we are at our farm entry gate. Interesting mixture of tree types here, from palms to pines to others. Really interesting setup with the two little ponds or whatever, and then the road between them. A little bit of a waterfall over here. So here at the main farm, our blue house does indeed have a sleep trigger here at the main door. Right there. We have our silo system here. This is embedded in the map, cannot be removed. We've got our dump and our fill pipe over on the other side of the wall. Then we have our base game cow area. So of course we have our manure, our slurry, straw. We have our water trough. We did activate animal pen extension mod, and that is what puts this marker here. Allows us to purchase the pipes. Plumber will come by and install those. We have our drop-off point for our cows, 200, as I said earlier, and then we have our food trough. Finally, around the corner, we have our milk trigger. Here we have the crop texture for the carioca beans. And then we have two sheds where a fair amount of our equipment has been placed. And that is pretty much the main farm area. Here we have custom crop for our soybeans. Fair bit of different ambient sounds. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Let's see if we can't find a crop of sorghum to see what that crop looks like, given the fact that sorghum is going to be a standard crop in FS22. And no, we don't have any crop growing sorghum at the moment. No fields. Sorry, growing sorghum at the moment. That's a little bit of a disappointment. Always like to see when there's maps that have additional crop types that the map author has set up some fields to basically always have that map or that crop type on it at the start. That way we can experiment and play early on with all of the various new crops. I think what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of a in-cab driving as we go around to the next area. We've got some fairly flat land down here where we have our fields, most of our fields located. Sawmill is up there on the hill. Field 7, on the other hand, is fairly big field that does go all the way up the hill there. So that might be a fun and interesting field to work. Oh, sorry. Thought we had a road there. A little further up, we have a road. Here we have the road. A little bit of a ravine down there. That's pretty neat. But yeah, you take a look at that hillside. Running your harvester across that hillside. That ought to be some fun. So we can add this list to the various South America maps that have come out as of late this year. And then here we have one of our grain sell points. Here you have your dump station. Then we'll make our way up to the sawmill. See if we can't take a little bit of a look across the map. From this vantage point, we can see a fair bit of the fields and whatnot as we continue our climb up. I have to say, this place right here, they have quite the view on this hilltop. So we've arrived at the sawmill. Right here around back, we have our wood chip cell trigger. And then we have our log trigger right here around the front. And then, of course, you could buy the fairly densely forested forest here. The foliage that we saw down in the open grass areas has continued here through the forest. Now, it would be interesting if someone was able to make kind of this, the natural grass of the map. Wouldn't that be interesting if this mixture of foliage was basically the growable map grass? Let's make our way back over to the cotton sell point, which is just down the main road here. Now, I believe this map came out either earlier this week or possibly late last week. But, interesting enough, the description on the Mod Hub was in possibly Portuguese, Spanish. It was something. I remember making a comment in the Ambassador channel on the Giants Discord as to thought there was a requirement to have the description be in English on the English version of the Mod Hub. And, well, at some point, an hour or so later, the map vanished. So I don't know if it was because of that or some other reason the map was pulled, but now it is back. So here we have cotton and wool. sell point there. Let's go ahead and make our way over to... Oh, no, let's not do that. Let's make our way over to the lime station. The limestone mine, as the description said. Not quite as in depth as some of the limestone mines we have seen on other South American maps, but a limestone mine nonetheless. Then on our way to the mine, we'll go ahead and swing by this grain sell point. Right here. I mean, overall, I'm thinking about this map. Traversing it, getting around it with large tractors, large equipment, large trailers, possibly road trains of trailers. And overall, so far, I think it could be fairly easy to get around. Here we have our lime trigger, I believe. Yep, there we have our lime trigger. Now this road will continue on and basically loop us back around to where we were before. But we're just going to double back at this point to continue our route around. And I think we'll just exit this side of the sell point, because it's going to take us over here to this kind of coastal town where we do have another grain sell point. Let's make our way down this road. Got interesting interlocking concrete tiles for a road network here. Large townhouse building. It's always fun warping into buildings. You can see where there's only single-sided textures. So here we have a dump station for another grain sell point. Again, fairly easy to get in and out of with a big, long trailer. Now, I'm going to kind of just turn right over here and make our way across land. We can see again, we've got this ground foliage going on. All of these are buyable areas, as we saw at the start of the video. So how that ends up working with respect to mowing the grass that is intermixed with all this, it'd be interesting to hear from anybody that is playing the map. What happens if you mow these grass areas? Does all this foliage go away? Does the bulk of this foliage stay, but just the grass kind of that's in and around the foliage, does it kind of get cut? But we do have what looks like custom grass, lots of custom foliage here. In fact, before the map's over, I want to see maybe what I can paint. If we're able to paint this type of foliage or not. So here we have the biogas plant. We have our digestate out. We have our digester. And as I mentioned during the fly around, the 2 silage bunkers are built into the earth. They're earthen bunkers, if you will. So we have our first trigger there, 3-sided bunker. And our second trigger right here. And we have just one more sell point to take a look at, and that is the port. But before we do that, I want to go over here and try to paint some of these areas and just see what the various textures are. There we've repeated. So we can paint down some shrubbery with what looks like some animal mud underneath. We have our concrete. We have kind of our older concrete. We have a couple different dirt textures that honestly I had a hard time seeing. I guess there's dirt, and maybe rocky dirt. Then here we have that. That wild grass foliage. It's kind of the ferns down intermixed with that traditional grass. Some larger bush foliage. Gravel, our stamped concrete, rock, sand, wet sand, and then we're back to our shrubbery that we saw first. So yeah, I just wanted to see if we could paint this interesting ground texture down, and we definitely can. I don't know why, but I kind of like these tall apartment buildings along the kind of the coastal roads, the coastal towns. And that nice dock over there in the water. This map should play fairly well for pretty much any hardware configuration. And then we have our fourth and final sell point right here for our grain crops. Like I said, during the fly around, we do have kind of animated boat traffic moving up and down the coast to give the map a little bit more life and activity. So guys, let me know what you think of Sossa Farm. Like I said, this map can be found on the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game mod hub. It is for PC only. I really don't see any reason why it couldn't possibly in the future be released for console. Although I do have to say, with just 1 month to go, 31 days exactly at this point, for the release of FS22, every map coming out in the Mod Hub is a bit of a shock and a surprise at this point. So let me know what y'all think of the map, and hey, what's your favorite South American map released so far to date? And until next time, happy farming.